Hi everyone, welcome back. Hopefully you saw the first stage of this particular painting in my first video. So we've completed the blocking in stage and now I'm just going to work on the sky. You can see I've done a little bit of the sky already, but it's kind of a bit saturated for me, so I want to tone this down, so I'm going to show you how now. So we're going to mix a bit of cobalt blue, a bit of azure blue and some titanium white. As I say, it's a little bit too saturated at the top for me. I think we want to lighten it off a little bit just to kind of give that feeling of a summer's day. So I'll show you on my palette here how I'm going to mix. So I've got some already squeezed out. We've got some titanium white, as I said, azure blue and some cobalt blue there. For brushes, I'm just using a basic filbert design. In sort of size, probably 6 to 10. It's all dependent on what you prefer in terms of the size of the brush. I mean, when you're doing large areas, a nice big brush is pretty useful. You can use synthetic hairs or sable hairs, whichever you prefer. Hog hairs are quite good, quite durable for oil painting. But so we want to take the saturation down somewhat. So we're just going to test that a little bit. So we need a little bit more blue in that. We're just going to knock that back somewhat. So keep your brush strokes nice and horizontal at this stage, because you want to go with the flow of nature. If you start doing vertical brush strokes, it's going to look a little bit odd when you can see the brush strokes coming through. So keep everything in the flow that nature goes, the direction that nature goes, and then your paintings are going to look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just adding a little more cobalt blue in there, but you can see we're just toning that strong blue down. It was just a little dark, but if you saw my first video, you'd have seen me talk about with the sky, you tend to have a higher saturation of colour at the top, and then it gets lighter as you come down towards the horizon. So we're just going to do that now. Just going to, as we come down, excuse me, just add a little bit more titanium white to the mix. If you guys want to know a little bit more about the equipment I use and which brand of paint and that kind of thing, please do let me know in the comments. I mean, I tend to stick with some of the sort of the well-known brands for paints, like Daler-Rowney, Winsor & Newton, and I find that they're pretty consistent and good quality as well. So just keep your brush strokes nice and smooth. Need a little more azure blue there. If there's any camera bounce, I do apologise. I was looking at moving it, but my studio is very small, so trying to find places to locate the clamp is quite awkward at the moment. But if there's an issue, I'll definitely look into different ways of mounting the camera, I think. But I've tried to stabilise the board a little bit better. But you see here, we're just blending. You can blend somewhat onto the actual paper surface itself there. Now, I can't remember if I mentioned in the previous video, but you should be working, where possible, on a primed bit of canvas or paper. So I just use a gesso primer, give it 1 or 2 coats, allow it to dry, and then it stops the oils in the paints coming through the paper itself. So it's always the first stage of the painting. I stretch the paper first with water, gum it down, and then we add the gesso primer over the top once it's dried. It stops the paint soaking into the paper as well, which means it stays wetter for a little bit longer. So if you paint directly onto the paper, you'll find that the flow isn't quite the same. Don't worry about there being little bits of variation in colour and tone here, because a lot of it you can be almost suggesting distant clouds and things like that. So nothing's going to be perfectly linear as it goes from top to bottom, not in most cases anyway. So don't worry too much. And what we can do is we can wait for it to dry. Once it's dry, you can have another look at the paint. I always suggest that you take a step back from your paintings so that you can really get a different perspective on it, because when you're sitting close or standing close to your easel, you don't see the sort of the bigger picture, if you like. So it's a good idea to get up and sit away. Sometimes I'll take photos with my camera or with my phone and just look at them afterwards, and you can kind of get another perspective that way. But it's a really important thing to do, is to take that step away from your painting, just to reassess, see if there's anything that's not working, whether it's colour or different kind of elements of your painting. But just think that's a really important thing to do, because you won't necessarily see everything sitting up close. You're almost too close to the image. So here I'm just trying to smooth out some of you can see there's little bits of variation in tone and colour here, which I'm okay with. Like I say, nothing's ever perfectly straight or whatever in nature. So take a step back, assess what you've done, and I'm just going to mix a little bit more of the blue at the top here. Just a little bit more saturation here. Careful of little bubbles of paint and stuff. Always, if you see little hairs from the brush or bubbles of paint, always pick them out when they're wet, because you can smooth over it then. Once the paint's dried, they're very difficult to remove, and then you'll leave a mark. But you can see there, well, hopefully you can see there's some kind of striations here created by sort of lighter and darker pigments, and that's quite nice to suggest distant clouds and things like that. So I'm happy with those being in the painting. I'm going to smooth it off there. But what I do with the base here, as we come down to the horizon, is I'll actually drop it lower than the actual tree line is going to be, because then that allows you to build up on top, and you can leave gaps in the trees just to suggest the sky coming through. But you can also, once we painted the trees, and I'll show you, you can also use paint on top of it, the blue sky paint on the top, just to show trees coming through if you end up blocking in too much of the trees. But I'll show you that when we come to it. So I think that's looking okay. So just take a step back, see what make sure that it's getting lighter as we get to the horizon there. And I'm quite happy with that. So we'll move on to the next stage. Okay, while we're here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop a little bit of the sky colour into the river here, because this is what's going to be reflected on this part here. So we'll just add that in there. I need to lighten off a fraction. So just add a little bit more titanium white to that. Always like to do this just to get the kind of basic colour in. Again, do your lines and your brush strokes horizontal at this stage, but with reflections you will also be dragging the paint down vertically as well at times, but try and stay consistent there. So quite often with reflections it works quite nicely and it looks more realistic if you have your higher saturation at the top there, and then you just work down almost like the sky, well, exactly like the sky. So just come down lighter as we get down to the bottom here, and that just helps with the sense of it. Don't worry about going over the bits of blocking in that you've done there, because we'll go over that with oils when we come to that part of the painting. But I'm just adding a bit more titanium white in there. Again, you can mix this on the painting in places. We may need to go over this, but this will give you, it gives you a kind of a nice position for where this reflection should be. never worry about making mistakes as well when you're painting. I mean, as you go along, you will make lots of different things and you'll be correcting bits here and there. And this is why it's important to take a step back and assess. And I've had a look, taken a step back, and I still think the sky's a little bit too saturated down near the horizon there. So just going to use a little bit more titanium white just to knock that back even further. Just a little bit of azure blue in with the white there. Make sure you mix it properly. And then I'm just going to drop a bit more of that into there, because I think it's still a little bit oversaturated. And we can pull that up and still blend it, because like I said before, I think in the previous lesson, you know, make sure that if you're going to blend paints, try and do it when the paint's as freshly on as possible, because it becomes more and more tacky obviously as time goes on and as the paint starts to dry, and then you'll end up forming blobs and clumps. So any blending, you want to be doing it while the paint is freshly wet onto the surface. So that's a bit better there. That's definitely what we wanted to say. I'm going to just continue that a little bit further up into the sky there. Again, I'm just a little bit of the azure blue. I'm not touching the cobalt blue at this stage. The cobalt blue is for the kind of add into the mix as you're near the top of the sky for that heavier saturation. Because of the light I've got here, I've got a one bulb direction light here. I have to keep just looking to the side just to see that I'm getting the right saturation here. I think this is already looking a bit better. Let's just knock that back. And just blending it as we go up. Yeah, that's knocked it back somewhat, which is what we wanted. If you find that there's a lot of brush marks and things like that, you can use a softer brush or something like a fan brush just to blend it sort of further in, but I'm using quite soft hair brushes here, which is my preference for doing skies, which just makes the blending a lot easier really. Just going to knock that back a little bit there. There's a little bit too much white in there, just mix some more of that blue in. Still a little too much. You can use a palette knife for mixing your paints if you prefer. I just tend to use the brush as I'm going, just for ease really, and it's just a little bit quicker. But again, so we'll put that like that, and then we'll just take a step back and see what that looks like. You can see a few marks, so any marks just smooth out with a brush. So there you go, that's the sky completed now. As skies go, it's not really very complicated, this one here for this painting, but it suits the purpose really. In further videos what I'll do is show you some more complicated landscapes and skies, maybe with some sunsets, some clouds, that kind of thing really. But for now this suits what we're doing. From the next further videos that we're going to do, I'll show you the more complicated elements. So we're going to move on to the trees and the foliage in the next video. So hopefully you'll join me then.